Hey y'all, I've started a new YouTube channel where I cook foods from video games, bringing the console to the kitchen. There's a link in the description, and if you like what you see, I'd be real appreciative if you subscribed. Let's get baked at Dakon's Bakehouse. Hey there, my fellow lunatics, Dakon the Mad here, and today we are going to take a look at the Frog Prince boss that you can find in the swamp biome on the main island. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. As you're exploring the swamp biome, you will eventually find this strange altar somewhere within the swamps. Now, if you're very, very lucky, you will find the strange altar near a large body of water. Like, for me, I found mine right at the edge of the swamp, right next to the eastern part. But it's going to spawn randomly somewhere in your swamp biome. Like I said, if you're very lucky, it'll be close to one of the edges of the water. Because if it is, that will make the fight a whole lot easier. Are we fucking working now? Great. So in order to summon the Frog Prince, you are going to need 5 Eye of Newt. Now you can find these all over the swamp from killing basic mobs. Just come up to the altar and right click on it. It will drop all 5 of the newts and summon the Frog Prince. Now let's talk gear for this fight. When it comes to your weaponry, any kind of melee weapon like this S-Stock that is within the 15 to 20 points of damage range should work out for you. If you're using a ranged weapon, I recommend the iron bow as it's easy to craft and strong, but honestly, any ranged weapon that does between, I would say, 25 and 30 points of damage is going to work out for you as well. You could also use the iron staff, as this is a solid magical item, and any magic items in the range of about, I want to say 10 to 20 or 10 to 15 should be enough when it comes to magic damage. Armor-wise, I just used the iron set. Now, if you have the gold armor by this point, feel free to use it, but iron will do just fine for you. And I've equipped a few things like I've got this feather coat. You don't need the feather coat because it gives you improved temperatures in the snow, but it also increases the attack speed. So that's why I have this equipped for the attack speed boost. I also have the merman boots on for the movement speed boost, as well as reducing my water penalty. Since we'll be doing the fight either in swampy territory or out in open water, we don't want to have our movement suffering from being in the water. I'm currently using the Lucky Frog Leg, which increases my dash by 1. It also increases my critical hit chance a bit. Really, all you need, though, is the Frog Leg for that extra dash, as that's the important thing here. From a permanent health and mana standpoint, you're going to want to have used at least 8 life flowers at this point, which puts your health at around 200. And you're going to want to use at least 3 mana flowers by now, getting your mana up to about 100. If you have more than that at this point, that's great, but this is really the minimum you need in order to survive from the fight. When it comes to buff food, I would recommend if you're doing ranged to use the roast chicken, as this will increase your range damage by 15%. If you're doing melee, the roast meat will do the melee by the same amount. And if you're doing magic, nigiri will also boost your magic again by 15%. Now, if you're struggling with roast chicken or nigiri or any of these others, you could always make a hamburger, which increases your overall damage no matter what you're doing by 10%. Don't forget to have some heal potions, and if you need it, some mana potions as well. as these will be very helpful if you get hit during the fight. Now, if we take a look at potions, the critical potion would be very useful during this fight as it increases our critical hit chance by 15%. The attack potion is also great, increasing our attack speed by 20%. And depending on what you're doing, whether it's melee, ranged, or magic, you have various potions that'll increase the damage for each one by 20%. I also recommend making a peaceful potion to decrease your enemy spawn rate, as the spawn rate in the swamp is very, very high, and you just don't want to be dealing with adds constantly while you're dealing with this fight. So use a peaceful potion to just reduce the amount that you're going to have to deal with that. The poison resistance potion can be useful as well, as it grants you immunity to poison, and while the boss doesn't do poison damage himself, he can spawn leeches and mosquitoes, which can do poison damage. So just to avoid having to take any damage at all from poison, give yourself some immunity. If you happen to have the materials for it, a stone skin potion will also be very useful for you during this fight. I didn't use it because I do not have any hearts of stone at the moment. But if you do, great. Give yourself some extra defense. So the Frog Prince has 750 hit points in Explorer mode, 1,000 hit points in Adventurer, and 1,750 in Survival. He's got several basic attacks. The first one is that he will inflate his throat sac and summon up to 5 random enemies. They could be leeches, they could be mosquitoes, or they could be frogs. You might get 1, you might get 5, you might get them all the same type, you might get a combination of them. He also can inflate his throat sac to release about 5 to 6 bubbles that will be aimed directly at the player. And he also has a tongue attack that he will shoot out at the player, pulling him in and doing some damage. If he touches you, he does 75 points of damage. So if he brings you in with his tongue attack, you're going to take 75 points of damage. If he jumps on you, he's going to do 75 damage to you on contact. Incidentally, he has a couple of other attacks, like a small jump where he then releases 8 bubbles in a circle, as well as a generic jump attack where he jumps at the player and just tries to do as much damage as possible. The bubble projectiles do between about 70 to 75 points of damage per hit. This will vary depending on your difficulty. Same thing with the contact damage. It will start at around 75, but it could be higher or lower depending on your difficulty. Overall, I recommend just taking this boss out into open water if you are close enough. That way you don't have to deal with any obstacles, you don't have to deal with any spawns from the swamp itself, and you have more room to move around. Keep yourself at a distance from him and just do as much damage as quickly as you can. Avoid the bubble attacks. When they come out in the circle, they're pretty easy to dodge. Same thing when they come out just directly aimed at you. Unless you're standing right next to them in melee, you should have enough distance to be able to quickly and easily dodge out of the way of those attacks. Whenever the Frog Prince tries to jump on you, dodge out of the way. Having 2 dodges at this point is really useful. That's why I recommend using the frog leg, because sometimes 1 dodge just isn't enough to get out of the way of these jump attacks. So having 2 will guarantee that you should be able to get out of there. Keep circling the boss, doing as much damage as you can, avoiding those hits, and it won't take you very long to be able to burn him down. He doesn't have that many hit points, even on Survivor mode. Now let's take a look at the Frog Prince's loot, shall we? He will drop the crown, which can increase your hit points and your mana by 50, but it doesn't provide a lot of armor. This is probably something that will be used more as a cosmetic than as an actual boost or buff for you. It also has a chance to drop the Poison Gland, an accessory that gives you a chance to poison enemies on hit. Poison is very effective, and I highly recommend that you use it when you get it. You can drop the Arrow Haunches, which has a chance to make ammo bounce on the ground, which is kind of fun. It's not the most useful of abilities, but it does make it easier for you to hit creatures that are kind of in a line. That can be helpful, as it will bounce and hit another creature. It also drops the Frog Prince tongue, which is a hook shot. If you've already got a hook shot, great. Just keep using what you've got. Unless you want the Frog Prince tongue, it works exactly the same as any other hook shot. It just looks like a frog tongue. So if you like that look, it's purely cosmetic. There's your Frog Prince tongue. He can drop the Bubble Spell, which is a pretty decent magic weapon at this point in the game, although once you get down into the caves, you're going to find better. The Hammer Frog also drops off of this boss, and this one is not a bad melee weapon. I haven't used it too much because of the slower attack speed, but the 3 bubbles that it spawns can be pretty cool and useful in certain situations. And he also drops the Krork, which is a bow that randomly shoots bubbles. Not the best of ranged weapons and not really one that I've used a lot, so I don't really have much to say on it. It does have a really great crit chance, which is one thing I do like about it, though. Once you have the Summoner NPC in your town, then you can pick up the Eye of Truth from the Summoner. And if you have this accessory equipped, then when you kill the Slime Prince, he will drop a soul item, which you can then use to add the frog toy to your summoner's shopping list. This lets you resummon the frog boss without the need for any Eye of Newt. It just costs you 8 gold for the summoning item. That being said, if you do have a bunch of Eye of Newt, you can still use that. It's just the frog toy lets you summon the frog anywhere, while the Eye of Newt has to be used specifically at the altar. So if you wanted to summon the Frog Prince on the beach or in a specifically set arena that you've built, you're going to need the frog toy to do it. And that's it, guys. This is not a very complicated boss. It's an early game boss. He doesn't have a lot of crazy attacks. He doesn't do anything that's truly nasty. Honestly, I think the hardest part about this boss fight are probably the ads in the swamp, and a peace potion pretty much eliminates that difficulty. So fighting the boss becomes a lot easier. If he's not nearby a major water source, you are going to need to spend some time clearing out the area around the boss fight so that you don't constantly run into trees and plants and other things that will hinder your movement and make it a lot easier for the Frog Prince to step on you. As long as you've got plenty of room to maneuver or open water to maneuver in, you'll find this boss fight to be relatively simple. If you've already got gold gear, you're overpowered for this fight and you will find it extremely easy. So you can easily get here with some iron and you'll find that the boss really isn't all that bad. If you have any questions about this fight, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on all the fun things that we create here at the Madhouse. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay crazy, everybody.